plane. She's on her way home. After months of being unjustly detained in Russia, held under intolerable circumstances. Brittany will soon be back in the arms of her loved ones, and she should have been there all along.
Following breaking news here at 6 a.m., basketball star Brittany Griner is on her way back to the U.S. after being freed from a Russian prison. Thanks so much for joining us here at 6 a.m., everyone. I'm Eric Connors.
And I'm Dana Marie McNichol in for Netta Arampur. Now, Griner was released as part of a prisoner exchange. Tina Kraus has the latest.
WNBA star Brittany Griner has been released from Russian custody in a prisoner swap. The Russians gave up Griner in exchange for Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout, who was serving prison time in the U.S. Sources tell CBS News the high-stakes swap happened today at a neutral location in the United Arab Emirates that both the U.S. and Russia had agreed on. Russian officials publicly signaled their willingness to engage in prisoner swap negotiations after Griner was sentenced to 9 years in prison on drug charges.
I never meant to hurt anybody. I never meant to put in jeopardy the Russian population. I never meant to break any laws.
Griner's lawyers argued she had mistakenly brought vape cartridges in her luggage containing less than a gram of cannabis oil back in February. Her release comes after many months of pressure from U.S. officials who urged the Kremlin to set her free. Earlier this year, former U.S. Marine Trevor Reed returned home after spending more than 2 years in a Russian jail on assault charges. In exchange, the U.S. released Russian pilot Konstantin Yaroshenko, a convicted drug smuggler. Griner had been serving time in one of Russia's labor camps, notorious for its harsh treatment of inmates. She will now undergo a health check at a U.S. military base before returning home to the U.S. just in time for the holidays. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
The Biden administration says it has not given up hope of gaining freedom for former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan, who is serving a 16-month prison sentence in Russia on charges of espionage, which he denies.
And another top story this morning, no charges are being filed against former Aztec punter Matt Araiza or two of his former teammates who are accused of rape.
This morning we are hearing from attorneys on both sides. CBS 8's Chris Groh live at San Diego State University with more on why the civil case is not yet over here, right?
Yeah, and we're talking about that civil case filed there against Araiza and others, and that being done here on the victims, the alleged victims' behalf. Now the plaintiff, but as far as the criminal case, does not appear that there is going to be one. Not after the district attorney came out and said that they will not pursue charges because they don't see a path towards any type of criminal conviction. And that's after they poured over evidence, spoke with 35 witnesses, performed 10 search warrants, looked at the DNA from the rape kit. But take a listen to what Araiza's attorney had to say about that announcement.
But that's not what happened. Matt Araiza never went inside the house that night, and I dare anybody to show me some proof that he did.
And so now moving forward, this becomes a civil case. But just sort of backing up here, that was attorney Carrie Armstrong, who represents Araiza. Araiza and those two other SDSU football players were accused of gang raping a then 17-year-old girl at a Halloween party last year. According to the civil suit that's been filed, Araiza took the girl to the side yard of the house, had sex with her. She claims that she was extremely drunk at the time. The suit then goes on to allege that Araiza took her inside to a bedroom where he and the two other defendants raped her over the course of 90 minutes. However, the defense team, as you just heard there, claims that Araiza never went into that room and that Araiza never even went inside the house. They also say they have video evidence that counters the alleged victim's claims. Now, Dan Gillian represents the now 18-year-old plaintiff and says this is far from vindication for Araiza. Gillian says that he wasn't surprised by the DA's decision, and that it's much tougher to get a guilty verdict in the criminal court than in the civil court, which is what they are now pursuing.
There's no doubt that multiple men had sex with her when she was extremely intoxicated as a 17-year-old, and she's, suffering from PTSD from that. That's the reality of it. Whether or not the DA thinks that that's a crime is really secondary to our objective.
And now moving forward in the civil case, we could potentially see depositions taking place soon. Of course, we'll continue to follow this story in both sides and exactly what may happen. And can you continue to follow this story by going to CBS8.com and continuing to follow our social media channels. Eric and Dana Marie.
Chris Crow reporting live. Thanks, Chris. In the meantime, San Diego State University says its investigation into the rape allegations remains active. The school has conducted interviews, reviewed evidence, and encourages anyone with direct knowledge of the incident to report it.
Now, some students on campus told us that they're disappointed the district attorney will not be filing criminal charges against the former football players.
They should have been formally charged, but unfortunately, that was not the news we got today.
I don't like to see actions like that go unpunished, and I wasn't there. I don't know what for sure happened, but I am a firm believer of believing the victims first.
Now, we've put San Diego State's full statement on our site. You can go to CBS8.com to read it. Now, right now, deputies are looking for whoever shot a man in Poway. This happened around 6:30 p.m. yesterday on Oak Knoll Road. Authorities say gunshots were heard in the area. Then a 29-year-old man showed up at a hospital with multiple gunshot wounds. He's in critical condition. Now, call the sheriff's department if you have any information.
Well, this morning we are hearing from a man who says he was attacked by a homeless man downtown near the famous kissing statue. He caught some of it with his iPhone camera here. CBS 8's Anna Laurel shows us that video and why police did not arrest the man.
A woman sent me cell phone video of something that happened to her husband out here.
Back off! He's a runner. And as he was running away, the homeless guy grabbed the back of his shirt and literally just ripped it right off his body.
They say the man in this video got angry because he said they woke him when they were picnicking. They say he started swearing at them and threatening them, so they packed up and left.
Unsettling. I guess that's it. Being a native to San Diego, something like this happening, I thought, well, this is not going to happen to me.
Mark says he walked Cindy over to a restaurant to be closer to people, but the man followed them.
I'm thinking he's going to follow through with wanting to beat me up. Back off!
As the guy lunges at Mark, the video goes dark, but you can still hear what's happening. You can hear Cindy talk to 911 dispatch.
He's okay now. No, he doesn't need a medic, but his shirt was completely ripped.
And you can hear when police arrive.
What was it about? What was it?
Not that we were eating our cake by the tree there.
Yeah.
He had his hammock all set up.
Okay.
And he said, shut your mouth, dirty language, and then said, get out of here, I'll beat you up and throw you in the water.
I've reported situations like this at least once a week for the past month. I spoke with City Council members' chief of staff who says the city's been focused on compassion enforcement and homeless people are highly protected. I told that to Mark and Cindy.
I know that they're homeless and I know that it's complicated, but as more and more of these violent incidents are happening, I'll tell you, it's making me afraid.
They didn't press charges because the man in the video told police Mark attacked him, and officers said they'd have to arrest both men if they wanted to press charges. I reached out several times today to San Diego police about this incident and to the mayor's office to find out more about their policy toward the city's homeless. Neither got back to me.
Something's got to change. We can't have people afraid to walk around, and we can't have people who are potentially dangerous, who are nothing's happening to them and they're threatening people. It's just, it's no way to live.
In downtown San Diego, I'm Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
Well, the latest count from the Downtown San Diego Partnership says there are over 1,700 homeless people downtown. That's a new high and the fourth straight monthly increase.
And we do have big news from the Padres. The baseball's winter meetings are being held right now in San Diego, and they've reportedly signed Boston Red Sox shortstop Xander Bogarts.
Yeah, this is a massive deal. Reported $280 million over 11 years. Bogarts is a 4-time All-Star and 5-time Silver Slugger winner. Red Sox manager Alex Cora once referred to Xander as the most consistent person and player in the entire Red Sox organization. So yeah, now he's going to be in the brown and gold. The Padres now have 3 All-Star caliber shortstops in Bogarts, Ha-Seong Kim, who did a great job at the position last season, and how can we forget about Fernando Tatis Jr.? He's going to be coming back soon. Kim could move to second base, Jake Cronenworth to first base, and then Tatis into the outfield when he returns from that suspension in April. So we're just making this roster even stronger, hoping we can get deeper into the baseball playoffs, potentially the World Series maybe, huh? Yeah, there you go. Probably we'll have to do it again.
We'll do it once again. That's exciting stuff. I mean, it's all kind of like, you know, culminating. We, of course, don't know how it's going to end up, but cool to see the ins and outs, the contracts coming together. It is 6:09 right now on our Thursday morning. A clear start to our Thursday compared to what we saw for the last several mornings. Our Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we had cloud cover along the coast and scattered showers. They were very scattered in nature. All we saw in a 3-day total was close to 1/10 of an inch, in many spots 5/100ths of an inch, so very light and scattered. However, what it did do for us is help to hold on to some of the heat from the day prior. Those clouds tend to act as a blanket. Now those clouds are gone. We're off to sunshine by this afternoon, and temperatures are going to be warmer than yesterday in the low 60s, but take a look at where we're at right now out the door. It is 36 degrees in Poway, 36 degrees in Escondido, 30 degrees in Ramona, 40 in El Cajon, 43 in La Mesa, 42 in Encinitas. So these overnight lows are not only well below average, but also about 13 degrees cooler than just 24 hours ago. 14 degrees cooler in Julian, 16 degrees cooler in Borrego Springs. Along the coast, about 5 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago. Very cold start to the morning. The jacket's going to help you out. You can see those clouds pretty well offshore. And when we zoom into San Diego, no wet weather to start off the morning. Those clouds are at a pretty decent distance. So on the 5-day forecast, you can see how those temperatures are going to stay in the low 60s. Looks like the warmest day we'll have is about Saturday. Partial cloud cover on Saturday, but tomorrow still a lot more sunshine on hand. And then Sunday is what we're eyeing for widespread precipitation, more significant totals that we'll get, and those will last into Monday before those showers start to taper off by about Tuesday. Live look outside. Sunrise is going to be at 6:39 a.m., so just a little bit of time on that. Let's take a look at how traffic is shaping up as we start off the morning so far. Things have been very, very light out there on the roads. We will take you to what looks to be a crash just further off to the east of Chula Vista. We'll give you a little bit of a closer look on the area and then get some info from CHP. It's just further south of La Mesa. Slow lane blocked with a crash on the 125 northbound, and this is as the 125 meets the 54.